WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. It's never easy to say goodbye, especially to a young person with a bright future. That's why it was an emotional day in Monroe County as the community says goodbye to one of its own. This was the scene in Amory as hundreds came out to celebrate the life of Dylan Pickle. People lined up along Main Street waving their flags as the Monroe County deputy made his way to his final resting place and his final call. Pickle was killed in the line of duty last Friday after being hit by a car while manning a safety checkpoint in Hamilton. Fellow law enforcement and members of the military came out to show their respects. Those close to Pickle call him a hero, say the service he gave to his community and country will never be forgotten.
He really deserved this. He was a genuine person. He would go out of his way for anybody, and to see the turnout and everybody showing him respect, he honestly deserved it.
I see us as a nation losing respect for people who have given, and so it's nice to be able to show my respect for someone like that.
Pickle was also a member of the Mississippi National Guard. He was laid to rest at Houghton Memorial Park. He only had 24 years to leave his mark on his world, and it's apparent that Dylan Pickle did just that. The young deputy made a huge impression on folks. WCBI's Allie Martin talks with a fellow deputy and a friend of the fallen young man.
Dylan Pickle was the best of us. And I say that you can go out there your entire life, you may only meet one or two people that every single person that meets that person likes them, and that was Dylan.
Oktibbeha County Deputy Drew Jones was in the same National Guard unit as Dylan. Both were selected for a 20-man personal security detail in Syria because of their experience with law enforcement agencies. Jones remembers his friend as a tireless soldier.
Some days we ran missions 7 days a week. Some days we did it every other day. Some we'd go a couple days on, a few days off. And like normal people, you get tired and worn out and maybe complain a little bit here and there, but Dylan never complained. He was never one to shy away from hard work.
After returning from the Middle East, Dylan used GI Bill money to put himself through the police academy in Moorhead. The two men stayed in touch, and Jones tried to get him to apply in Oktibbeha County.
I may have begged him to apply. We had an opening at the same time he was at the academy. I even told him, I don't know if my wife knew it, I even said he could live with us till we found him a place to stay. He said he's from Monroe County and this is his home and this is where he wanted to always work.
Lieutenant David Mitchell also saw that commitment to Dylan's community. Mitchell is called Pop by those on Shift A at the Monroe County Sheriff's Department, and that was Dylan's shift. Mitchell remembers the young man always preparing for the chance to go out on patrol, and he was prepared for his new assignment.
Even while he was still working the court and doing transport, when they didn't have any of those duties to do, he would come out and help with patrol. But even on our night shifts, he wasn't paid or anything. He would call us, hey, can I come out with you and work with you tonight? Mitchell
says Shift A is like a family. It's that family spirit he remembers in his last conversation with Dylan.
Every Saturday night, our shift has a pre-shift meal, and we usually meet 30 minutes before we go on shift. And this particular night, we met, and he was a few minutes late getting there, and I was picking on him about being late, and he sat down and he ordered fish, and I made a comment to him, this fish will be swimming after a while, and he said, it's okay, you'll let me go home, boss man. You know, I just wish I could back up to that few minutes of time. You know, I put my arm around him and I said, nope, not letting you go home. I wish I could put my arm around him one more time.
In Monroe County, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Dylan's friends say they're overwhelmed at the show of support from the entire community. A man born into a law enforcement family is named Trooper of the Year. Trooper First Class Stephen Jones was honored today during the Columbus Exchange Club meeting. Jones has served in the Mississippi National Guard, been a volunteer firefighter, and worked for the Starkville Police Department. He became a state trooper in 2015 after graduating as a member of Cadet Class 61. Jones is assigned to his home county, Lowndes County. The highway patrolman says the award is humbling. Now, law enforcement in the 3rd Judicial District received cultural sensitivity and de-escalation training. District Attorney Ben Creekmore provided the educational session. Former FBI Special Agent Jeffrey Artis led officers through role-playing scenarios similar to what they encounter every day. He says the goal is to help police better understand cultural differences and to diffuse any potential conflicts. Artists believe social media has put law enforcement under the microscope.
Is law enforcement worse than it was 40, 50, 60 years ago? No. But right now, everything that a law enforcement officer does is potentially being recorded. And that is being played millions and hundreds of millions of times over and over. And individuals, that's their only view of law enforcement because most people do not come in contact with law enforcement. Part of this training is how to not put yourself in a situation unnecessarily and don't allow it to become personal.
The DA says this is the first time various departments have taken part in the training together, and he expects more sessions in the future. Local COVID-19 cases skyrocket as state numbers soar above 57,000. Here are the new numbers from the Mississippi State Department of Health. 1,775 new cases were reported today, along with 48 deaths. 1,245 people are in hospitals across the state with confirmed or suspected COVID-19. 296 of those patients are in ICU. Locally, Lowndes County has the most new cases with 89. Tishomingo is reporting 47 new cases. Lee has 46, and Lafayette has 34. Governor Tate Reeves adds several counties in our neck of the woods as COVID-19 hotspots. Lee, Lowndes, Noxubee, and Pontotoc counties will now have to follow strict guidelines to help combat the spread of the virus. It was last week when Governor Reeves mentioned he was watching the numbers in Lee County. People living in these counties will be required to wear face masks when out in public. Gatherings will be limited to 10 indoors and 20 outdoors. Businesses will also have to make sure they're in compliance with guidelines from the Mississippi State Department of Health. Moving away from home is a first for most students, and for many, this is the first time away from the family physician. That's why MUW has a medical team that looks after the college community. Many students will rely on the school's medical staff during illnesses. Sally Pearson, a family nurse practitioner at the W, says the university is prepared to service students in need. Pearson says she wants students to feel safe when they're on campus.
We're ready to take care of them just from physical exams all the way to if they have an acute illness or anything like that. So we're here for them. And then we know how to refer if they need referrals.
MUW's Campus Health Center website says students can get a COVID-19 test with an appointment or even a flu shot. For many students, part of the college experience is living together in dorms. MUW still plans to move residents in and soon. They'll be doing it soon. Coming up a little later on WCBI News at 6, we'll show you how administrators plan to keep students safe and healthy in campus residence halls. Our Bobby Martinez will have that story.
It's warm to be doing any moving whatsoever right now across our region. Upper 80s, low 90s. Currently a pretty decent afternoon for our Thursday here. Not really a lot of rain locally and a fair amount of sunshine. When you look back to the west into Arkansas and even more so back into Oklahoma, there are some showers and storms back that way, and some of those could build our way later this evening and tonight. So going into the early evening hours, we're warm, we're dry, but by mid to late evening and during the overnight hours, can't rule out some isolated showers or storms. Overnight lows will be very mild and muggy tonight in the 70s, and tomorrow back up to about where we are now, low 90s. Another opportunity for some scattered storms out there. Your full forecast in just a few minutes.
Lowndes County home is a total loss after a fire. Firefighters rushed to put out the blaze this afternoon. It happened around 1 o'clock on Boxwood Drive. Firemen say the east side of the house was already on fire when they arrived. Districts 1, 2, and 3, and 5 were there to help put out the blaze, and They were there for all mutual aid. Volunteer Fire Chief from District 2, Andy Grant, says a father and his 5 kids escaped without injury. The cause of the blaze is under investigation. Around 50 homes in Ottumwa County now have access to natural gas service. Atmos Energy joins the Mississippi Public Service Commission and MSU President Mark Keenum at the Mississippi Horse Park to formally announce an expansion of natural gas service in the city of Starkville. The project is part of Atmos Energy's rural expansion program. The expansion in Starkville will extend service to 50 current homes and another 200 planned homes.
If you have access to natural gas, you can choose to use natural gas appliances. Typically, natural gas appliances are cheaper to operate than propane. And in some cases, depending on your electricity provider, it can also be cheaper.
We're just pleased to have this wonderful public-private partnership that can help benefit our university, but benefit the citizens in this county as well.
With help from the PSC, the utility has completed 54 projects in 28 communities. Suitcases and stereos, posters and clothes. Some things about college never change, but this year it's going to look a little different. We'll show you how next on WCBI News at 6.
You're watching WCBI's News at 6 with Joey Barnes.
Welcome back, everyone. Move-in day is just a few weeks away for those choosing to live on campus at Mississippi University for Women. But there are some big changes to dorm life. Our Bobby Martinez is live on campus with more. Bobby?
Joey, it seems like yesterday I was moving into my dorm room in college, but times have changed because of COVID-19. So there are some changes students should know before making that transition from home to college.
Change is expected for students living on campus,
It's going to be a little bit different.
with the main focus being
What's safer for the students?
Andrew Moneymaker, director of housing at the W, says campus life will be much different this semester because of COVID-19.
We have assigned all students a room to themselves, which typically we do have doubles, we do have singles, but for their safety, we have given everybody a double room to practice the social distancing. We've gone through all of our common areas. We've wrapped up furniture and put it in storage again to space it out to eliminate the large gatherings.
And for those students moving in on campus,
our move-in's going to be pretty much contactless. Students will come in, come up to our check-in window. The RAs already have their stuff together, and they'll basically slide their packet to them with all the information in there, their room key, and so there's no real physical contact with that.
as for the campus life, Moneymaker says the university will still do their part in keeping students entertained.
We will still do our programming in the halls. The biggest difference is it will be more virtual than, us gathering in groups and doing something fun.
If you'd like to learn more about the campus life here at the W, you can visit their website. Reporting live on the W campus, Bobby Martinez, WCBI News.
A lot of sun shining there on campus.
Ooh.
And
Hot and sweaty to be moving in anywhere.
It is, definitely. But not as many showers around today as
No, we
yesterday.
kind of lucked out so far today, Joey. Things can be changing later tonight, and we're just going to assume there will be some more storms here for the next 2 days in clusters here. So it won't rain all times, but there could be some heavy rain, maybe some gusty breezes too. A little bit drier by Sunday, but we stay warm into August, which starts this weekend. Your forecast is next.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
A pretty nice summer day overall here on our Thursday. Our time lapse from Louisville, Mississippi shows some of these passing clouds this afternoon. A bit breezy out there. Notice the trees, the flag whipping around there in the breeze. On our Thursday, we've topped out in the low 90s here. Thank goodness for that breeze. Anytime we can stir up the wind this time of year to cool things down a little bit, we will take it. 90 currently in Louisville. Still pretty warm out there this evening. In Vernon at Durham's Pharmacy, 90 degrees as well. And also those trees and the leaves are moving around in the air. 89 in Columbus, in the friendly city at this point in time. So we have no rain on our live radar here. So as we go into the early evening, things are looking great. Storms really having a difficult time developing in Arkansas so far, more so in Oklahoma and Texas. Some of these will continue to migrate east as we go throughout the overnight hours. So we're just going to keep that chance of some showers and storms in the forecast I suspect most of you probably won't see it tonight, can't rule it out. And during the day tomorrow, especially during the daytime heating, we'll have a better chance of some more scattered storms, especially afternoon into the afternoon and evening hours. But we could see some right around in the morning, too, with this juiced-up atmosphere. So temperatures will be in the upper 80s, the low 90s once again. And outside of the storms, the heat index could shoot over 100 degrees once again. So here's the big picture. We have a frontal boundary to the northwest, clusters of storms trying to develop back to the northwest. And as I mentioned, some of that could scoot on in here for tonight. We may have some around tomorrow morning, can't rule it out, but I think as we get into the daytime heating and into tomorrow evening, out ahead of that frontal boundary, a better chance for some storms, some of which could pack a punch with some gusty wind and heavy downpours. And the front lingers here on Saturday, too, and that will keep the opportunity for at least some rain and storms going. And with some cloud cover, temperatures may only top out in the mid-80s here as we get into your weekend. Here is the latest on Tropical Storm. Oh, the ice storm. I just had a mental break. I just had a mental breakdown, Joey. Isaias. Yes, oh my goodness. This is going to be a killer here going forward. Name alone, but it's potent. Look at this. It is blowing up here this evening, and this will continue to strengthen a little bit. It is moving to the northwest and could approach Florida as a Cat 1 hurricane by the weekend. It is not going to have any bearing whatsoever for our area, but something to watch here as it goes up the eastern seaboard this week. So let's talk about your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Elevated rain chances tomorrow and Saturday, a little bit lower on Sunday, so that could be the better day of the weekend, and some more scattered storms possible each and every day next week.
All right, thanks, Keith. SEC football is officially happening in 2020. That's right. Find out the changes being made next in sports.
Your WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
With the college football season quickly approaching, finally some good news. The SEC has finalized a plan to have a season this fall. The SEC announcing this afternoon that football season will now have a 10-game conference-only schedule beginning September 26th. The SEC title game will also be pushed back 2 weeks to December 19th, and that is set to be held at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Updated schedules are set to be released at a later time. No word just yet on how this will change the 2020 Egg Bowl or if fans will be allowed to watch at stadiums this season. Academy Week keeps rolling along on the high school football tour. Our next stop checks in with the Winona Christian Stars. Head coach Junior Graham is reloading his team after losing some key players to graduation. However, the Stars are just looking forward to the normalcy football brings. Winona Christian is stop number 39 on the high school football tour.
WCBI Sports 2020 High School Football Tour is brought to you by Itawamba Community College, Cannon Ford of Starkville, Monroe County Farm Bureau, Max South Broadband, and the Bank of Vernon.
Winona Christian reloads its team in preparation for the upcoming season. After losing a lot of talent to graduation, head coach Junior Graham welcomes in another big senior class to help move the Stars in the right direction.
We just want to keep getting better. We expect our kids to come in every year to compete at a high level. It's our responsibility as coaches to put them in a sound scheme, both offensively, defensively, and special teams. And you know, if the kids are ready to meet the challenge, you know, we just want to be in every ball game. And if you're in every ball game, you got a chance to have victories.
The Stars return after a 9-3 overall record and a second-round playoff appearance. With all the current uncertainty surrounding high school football, the Stars are focusing on putting in hard work to better themselves every day.
They were hungry to get back in the weight room. They were hungry to get on the practice field Monday, and they understand it's difficult times. But they also they love football. They love being a teammate.
With restrictions on scrimmages, the Stars have had to utilize each other on the practice field more than ever before.
We just had to compete against ourselves. You know, when you don't have any 7-on-7 counts or any lineman counts to attend, it puts all the weight on us to make sure we keep that competitive edge. And so we competed as much as we could throughout the course of June.
Even after losing a good chunk of his team, Graham says the Stars are well balanced on both sides of the ball.
You know, we expect quality play out of all of our players.
The Stars kick off the season against Tunica at home on August 21st. With Winona Christian on the high school football tour, Courtney Robb, WCBI Sports.
WCBI Sports 2020 High School Football Tour with Winona Christian High School is brought to you by Bank of Kilmichael.
We'll be right back.
Not too many changes here to the forecast. We'll have an opportunity for a few storms tonight. Also, some clusters Friday into our Saturday. Some of those could pack a punch. Heavy downpours too. Next week, more or less the same story. A little bit drier Sunday though, so if you have some weekend plans, it could be a bit soggy here Saturday versus a drier Sunday.
But 80s in late July,
Hey,
you can't beat that.
Not 100 yet.
This is
That's
true.
good.
All right. Thanks, Keith. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a good night.